Good morning. We have Korean food over here. Tteokbokki into a different sauce and mando soup and corn dogs.
Big, I can eat it. It's big.
There it is, guys. As you saw, I really ate so much today, and it's a different intro for our K-Talks with Therese. It's another K-Talks with Therese, and in this video, as you can see in the title, we're gonna talk about what I love about South Korea. And you guessed the first one right, because we ate so much K food this morning, and I think you know how much I really love Korean food. But guys, before loving Korean food, I really didn't like it. I can't even eat kimchi back then, but now it's part of every meal. So there, I'm basically eating like a Korean here at home because I usually eat one Korean meal a day. Ever since quarantine, it's been like that. So I think I really love Korean food. But before loving Korean food, there are so much things that happen. So I'm gonna talk to you about how this happened, how I became a person who loved South Korea so much. So we're gonna talk about this. So back in 2018, my family went to South Korea for a tour. And when you're in a tour, you're gonna visit all the tourist spots. And I think we just had one day that is free, and then we just spent the day at Myeongdong. There's nothing much in Myeongdong. It's just shopping time. So we didn't do anything much. We really didn't explore where locals go, and we just went to where tourists go. But during that time, even though we just went to the tourist spots, I told myself that I needed to go back here. I needed to look through places that are not tourist locations. So I went back there. It took me 6 months to go back, but after going back and traveling there solo, I went to South Korea every 3 months, guys. So I usually go there for 5 days or 1 week or 2 weeks. So I still couldn't say that I know everything now, but I know quite a lot about the culture and about the people there because I've been going back and forth. And every time I go back there, I have more reasons to tell myself that I really love this country. Even though in some trips I see the bad about the country, but I still love the country until now because, guys, there's so much to love about South Korea, and let's just start talking about it. The first one in our list, I just told you, I love the food of South Koreans. And the second one that I love about South Korea is that everywhere you go, it's just so aesthetic. It's just so picturesque. In every place you go, you can just take pictures, and that picture will turn out Instagrammable. I think because establishments in South Korea, they really put so much effort in looking through the little details of everything. And third thing is because they have 4 seasons. I think this also is the reason why the place is so aesthetic, because every season, the lighting in South Korea is just different. Like whenever it's winter, your pictures will turn out cool. Whenever it's summer, it's so warm. And whenever it's autumn, everything is just like low contrast. So I don't know, but I love South Korea for its season, because here in the Philippines, we only have summer, 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 summer every day. I don't know, even though we have cold days every December, January, but it's still summer here. Okay, it's always summer here. So I know there are other countries with 4 seasons, but I love the distribution of seasons in South Korea. Like, they have a fair share of summer, spring, fall, and winter, and I really love it. Although I know that some of my friends would tell me that it's always so cold here, but I'm better with that than having to be in a place where it's always summer. So it's here in the Philippines. In Korea, I know that there are many more cold days than hot days, but cold days are better for me because I get to dress up. Here in the Philippines, because it's hot, you can't really layer any clothes, and you would usually resort to one clothing choice. So it's always shirts and tank tops. The change of season would also mean change of fashion. So I really love that factor in South Korea, and being in South Korea, fashion is really a thing. That's the fourth thing I love about South Korea. I think South Koreans really know how to experiment and mix and match their clothes because of the changes in season, because they have to make use of all the clothes that they have. So there, I really love their fashion. As you all know, I've been going to Seoul Fashion Week and I really love every collection that I see because I don't see anything like that here in the Philippines. Because here, we're more into couture and we don't really layer a lot. And what I really love about their fashion is even though they get so experimental and they do mix and match, they still really take in mind what their norms are, like not showing your cleavage, not showing so much of your armpit. So they really are still conservative even though they experiment a lot with their clothes. Fifth thing I love about South Korea, guys, is that everything's so convenient because, guys, Korea has good internet, good transportation, Korea has good delivery system, and Korea has a good layout of the city or what. Because everything's always there wherever you're staying. I tried many different places to stay in and there's always a bank around, there's always a convenience store around, and there's always a park nearby. So everything's so accessible in each area. So I think they planned the layout of the city well. I don't know if this makes sense, but everything's so convenient in South Korea. Sixth thing that I want to tell you guys is that I really love their lifestyle because, guys, I know work in South Korea is really so hard, but people there really work hard, but they party harder.
I'm a girl who can be workaholic but loves to party a lot.
And at the same time, I really love how people there would usually dine out and then after that it's either drink or have coffee, and that's my life. I love coffee shops, I love partying, I love eating, and I love working. Their lifestyle basically fits with my lifestyle. That's why I really love South Korea. Seventh thing in our list, guys, is how people take care of their appearance in South Korea. I really love how everyone dresses up or takes care of their skin so much because, guys, I think we influence one another and it's really so nice to see people around you all beautiful, all glammed up. And I think there's negative and positive side of this one because some people might think that being so vain is just so toxic for the environment because it influences other people to really look nice, and if you don't look nice, it really affects one's confidence. So I think that's the bad side of this one, but I really love how everyone take care of themselves and how everyone makes themselves presentable to everyone. So the effect of that to me, I think, is that I take care of myself more. Eighth reason why I love South Korea is that I really love the entertainment culture. At first, I really didn't like K-pop as scene. I didn't want to deal with K-pop before, but now it's not just about K-pop but the whole entertainment industry in South Korea. I love how everyone in the entertainment industry really works hard to be in their spot. So some are really very humble and some are just out there living their lives like they're not part of the entertainment industry. So I love their songs, I love their reality shows, I love their dramas. So I love everything about their entertainment industry. The ninth thing in our list is that everyone in South Korea is just so disciplined. I really applaud them for being so disciplined, and I was shocked about this because, guys, here in the Philippines there are some Koreans who really are not disciplined. Like, so much Koreans back then drive recklessly here in the Philippines. Even in just the village, they really drive so fast that you get scared walking in the village. So Koreans here are really not so disciplined. So when we went to South Korea, I was really so shocked that Koreans are disciplined. So I fell in love more with South Korea when I saw how disciplined they were. That's the ninth thing in our list. They're disciplined. Everyone's so disciplined that the place is really so safe. That's the 10th thing in our list. South Korea is really safe, guys. I tell you that it's safe because I had so much experiences in South Korea. I lost my credit card, cell phone, my bag in different trips in South Korea. And I still got them with me when I went home because that's how safe it is in South Korea. But I'm not telling you guys that there's nothing suspicious in South Korea, but it's rare to have pickpockets around. It's rare to lose something in South Korea because, guys, it's really safe. Everyone is disciplined and everyone is really scared because there are many cameras everywhere, literally everywhere, even in parks or forests around South Korea. The cameras are always there. But the thing is, I think there are pros and cons about this because I think the law of South Korea is more for South Koreans. So whenever something happens to foreigners, it's really so hard to reach out to a police because you're a foreigner and you're not a South Korean citizen. So I think there's an issue like this. But guys, South Korea is really safe. For me, I lost my credit card one time. I lost it in the subway. And what's so funny is that my credit card is a prepaid credit card. So when I put money there, it's just gonna be there. So during that time, I placed all my travel money in my credit card at once. And I lost my credit card. And I wasn't bringing that much dollars with me because I had everything in my credit card. And in South Korea, you rarely use cash. Everything's credit card. So I was screwed back then. But then I went back to the subway station where I was and my credit card was right in front of the person in the information booth. So I got to breathe and I found my credit card. And the second experience that I had is that I lost my phone. I lost my phone in a university. This is the second time it happened to me. The first time it happened is in Taiwan and the second time in Korea, but I was alone in Korea, so it was really so hard for me because everything's in my phone when I'm in South Korea. But I lost it. I left it where I was taking photos, and guess what? I still found it where I was taking photos. I lost it for a while, but I found it where I left it. So that's how safe South Korea is. I think I left it for about 30 minutes and it's still there. And the third thing is that, guys, I left my bag in a cafe one time because I went to a cafe while waiting for the next show that I'm gonna watch in Seoul Fashion Week. And then when it was time to go to watch another fashion show, I went to the show, and when I went out of the show, so it took about 30-45 minutes for me to realize that I wasn't bringing any bag. So I went to the cafe and they all knew I was looking for my bag and they kept it there for me. So there. It's really so safe. South Korea is really so safe, but beware of cults, especially if you're a foreigner. There are many cults around Hongdae. Hongdae is the worst area with many cults, but they just approach foreigners. So if they hear you speak English or if they see that you look like a foreigner, they would approach you. So just don't talk to strangers if you don't know them. So that's it. And guys, I have so much more to tell you guys. I could go on and on for how many hours to tell you guys how much I love South Korea. So there it is, guys. I need to end this because this will not end if I keep on talking. So thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed this K-Talks episode and I hope you enjoyed also. So thank you so much for watching. See you in our next Katok Katok K-Talks with Therese. Bye!